The quiet town of Millfield had always seemed like a safe haven, small, tight-knit, the kind of place where everyone knew each other's names and locked doors were more of a suggestion than a necessity. But everything changed in the summer of 1997, when something so dark unfolded that even the rain couldn't wash the memory away. Jennifer Adams had just moved back to Millfield after spending several years in Chicago. She was 31, newly divorced, and looking for a fresh start. With her 6-year-old daughter Emily, she moved into her late grandmother's old house at the edge of town. It was a creaky, 2-story home nestled between the woods and a gravel road, where the rain always seemed to fall a little harder and the nights stretched on just a little longer. Neighbors were happy to see the Adams name return to the house. Jennifer's grandmother, Doris Adams, had been a beloved member of the community, known for her peach pies and a smile that made you feel like you were already forgiven. But the house had been empty for almost a decade, and something about its silence unsettled people. Jennifer did her best to settle in, painting the kitchen a brighter color, fixing the warped floorboards, and letting Emily decorate her room with fairy lights and stuffed animals. But from the very first week, things felt off. It wasn't anything she could put her finger on, just a feeling like being watched, like something about the house didn't want to be disturbed. One night, as rain tapped against the windows and thunder echoed in the distance, Jennifer awoke to the sound of footsteps on the stairs. She froze. Emily was asleep in the next room. She reached for the flashlight by her bed. Power outages were common in storms, and crept to the hallway. The steps had stopped. The house was still. She convinced herself it had just been the wind, or maybe the old wood settling under the pressure of time. But it happened again. And again. Every night for a week. Jennifer didn't tell anyone, not at first. She didn't want to seem paranoid, especially after the stress of her divorce. She figured her mind was playing tricks on her. That is, until Emily came to her one morning and asked, "Mommy, who's the man in the hallway?" Jennifer's heart nearly stopped. She knelt down, asking her to explain. Emily said she had seen a tall man, wearing dark clothes, standing at the end of the hall at night. He didn't say anything, just stared, and then he was gone. Jennifer called the sheriff, Dean Walker, an old friend from high school who still lived in town. Dean came by, searched the house, checked the locks and the windows. Everything was secure. "Probably just dreams," he said gently, though the look in his eyes said he believed something wasn't right. A week later, Jennifer decided to install a security camera in the hallway. Not a fancy one, just something she picked up from the hardware store. She needed to know if someone was coming into the house. That night, after Emily was asleep, Jennifer sat alone in the living room, the rain falling steadily, and watched the feed from the hallway on her laptop. Nothing happened for hours. Midnight passed. The house groaned with wind and age. Then, at exactly 3:17 a.m., movement. A shadow passed across the hallway. It didn't move like a person, it was fluid, like smoke in the shape of a man. Jennifer's breath caught. She paused the video, rewound, watched again. The shape lingered at Emily's door, then faded into nothing. She didn't sleep that night. The next day, she sent the footage to Dean. He watched it twice and came to the house immediately. "I don't know what this is," he said, "but I'm not letting you stay here alone." Dean began doing nightly patrols, driving by the house and checking the perimeter. But the presence inside the home didn't stop. In fact, it intensified. Lights flickered, doors opened by themselves, and the temperature in Emily's room often dropped so low you could see her breath. Emily started sleepwalking. Jennifer found her twice standing outside in the middle of the night, staring into the woods, barefoot in the rain. Jennifer became desperate. She reached out to a local historian, Martha Ellison, who had known her grandmother. Martha came over one afternoon, flipping through old newspaper clippings and photo albums. What she found changed everything. Back in the 1940s, the Adams house had been a boarding home for transient workers during the construction boom after the war. One of the boarders, a man named Charles Everett, had disappeared without a trace. Rumors swirled that Doris's husband, Leonard, had something to do with it. Some claimed there had been an argument over money. Others said it was jealousy. But no body was ever found, and the case went cold. Martha leaned back, her voice low. Sometimes places remember things people try to forget. Jennifer asked her if there was any way to make it stop. Martha hesitated, then told her about an old ritual. Nothing violent, just symbolic. A way of acknowledging the spirit, of laying it to rest. Jennifer was willing to try anything. That night, as the storm rolled in and rain lashed the windows, Jennifer followed Martha's instructions. She lit a candle at the top of the stairs, placed an old photograph of the house next to it, and spoke aloud. "If you're still here, I know what happened. I know your name. You don't need to stay." The candle flickered wildly, then went out. The hallway filled with the sound of footsteps, fast, pounding footsteps, rushing down the stairs, past her, and then silence. The house was still. The next few nights were calm. Emily slept peacefully. Jennifer did too. For the first time in months, the air in the house felt light again. But peace never lasts forever. About 2 weeks later, Dean came by with news. Human remains had been found just beyond the tree line behind the house. Construction crews clearing out land for a new road had uncovered them. They matched the description of Charles Everett, right down to the silver ring on his left hand. The police opened a full investigation, but with both Leonard and Doris long gone, there wasn't much to be done. Still, the discovery gave Jennifer a strange sense of closure. She stayed in the house. She didn't want to run. And besides, after that night, nothing strange ever happened again. The lights stayed steady. The shadows disappeared. The hallway was just a hallway again. But every so often, when it rained just right, Jennifer swore she could still hear faint footsteps upstairs. Not angry,